All right, we're live with Umoh, and we'll be working on Umoh's Mars-Jupiter conjunction in Cancer. So let's begin. What do you make of this conjunction? Is there anything that comes up for you straight away when you see it?
It's a weird conjunction because Mars is, in its arguably worst placement, and Jupiter is in its arguably best placement. um, so it's kind of like pulling in opposite directions.
Let's talk about where are you from?
Where am I from?
Yeah.
I'm from California.
Okay, are you connected ethnically to another place?
I mean, not, I mean, my family is from other places, but I was born and raised there, and my whole life. So
Okay. So the place that feels like home is California in the first place.
yes.
Okay, do you feel connected to California itself? Like the land, the place, the energy, the culture, the people?
Absolutely. Yes, I love it.
Okay, and you still live in California?
Yes.
Okay. Because Cancer is the place where you feel kinship. It's like those are my people. That is where I'm from.
Mm-hmm.
And so it can be about your roots, like where your family and the family before comes from, and also where you feel really at home now, but it's really both. That's why I started by asking you about the ethnic connection.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I think of home, I think of LA, California, Long Beach. Like that's where I feel at home. That's what home would mean to me if I was to say a place. Um, I'm not really connected with where my parents are from, like as far as a location, you know. My mom is from Rhode Island. My dad's African. Um, so I've been to both of the places where they're from once.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really like in my mind identify those as home. I would say like that's more like my lineage or something, but I wouldn't call it home.
Okay, what is your day-to-day like?
I'm a pretty extreme homebody. I work from home. I work for myself. I'm in the house most of the time.
Okay,
I'm also a workaholic. I work a lot.
okay. You're an extreme homebody. What does that mean?
I don't really go anywhere. I don't really do a lot of things. I have a lot of like friends in theory, but I don't actually hang out with them.
Okay, so you stay at home and you do things around the house.
Hmm.
Okay, then you must have kind of a lot around the house to do, or?
Mm, I just work a lot.
Okay, what do you do for work?
I'm an astrologer, and I'm also like a spiritual business coach. I work with small business owners, small service-based entrepreneurs.
Uh-huh. Okay, so when you say you work a lot, so can you give an example of something that's happening maybe just in the last days?
So right now I'm doing a program. It's called Social Media Sorcery. And so it's like combining astrology, social media, and magic. And so I've been, working on the curriculum for that and looking at the transits and thinking about like what do I want to share and what's too much for them and how to like calibrate things for people at different levels of astrological knowledge. Um, so that kind of stuff.
Okay, Mars, Jupiter, putting together a curriculum.
Mhm. Yeah. So, I mean, Mars and Cancer to me also is like working from home. So that part like makes sense to me, you know. Uh, and I've been doing that for a long time now.
Okay. Where do you live?
In Long Beach, California.
So Long Beach, I guess, is on the beach.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah. Depends
So,
what part of the city, but yeah.
okay, are you close to the beach or do you go there?
I love the beach. I do go to the beach a lot. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a walk? Do you sit there? Do you like to go in the water?
Um, I usually like to go in the middle of the night when no one's there, and
Oh,
with my like hermity crab like nature. I think because like my work is very like public and I interact with people a lot virtually, and I do like deep work with people, so I like need a lot of time to like recover and just like chill out by myself and be quiet and still, or be in my own energetic space, you know. um, so I like to go to the beach late at night, in the middle of the night when no one's there, and I'll like walk along the shoreline, get my feet wet, or I'll just sit on the beach and listen to the waves crash, or like sort of meditate, but or listen to music or something like that.
okay. Do you feel the Mars, Jupiter, Cancer there?
I actually never thought about it that way, but it makes sense.
Um, do you cook? Do you clean?
I don't like to clean, but I do like to cook. And I am a really good cook. And I cook in a, I would say, Cancerian way. Like, I don't follow recipes really.
Uh-huh.
Not good at following recipes. I can't
Uh-huh.
really follow a recipe. It's like really hard work for me because I'm always like, well, what if I do this? And then I always want to tinker with it. And then
Hmm.
9 times out of 10, you know, when you just like randomly tinkering with a recipe, it doesn't come out.
Okay.
So when I just make something randomly, like intuitively, I just pull together random ingredients from around the house. I always make something like really delicious.
Okay. Do you feel that the Mars, Jupiter, Cancer?
I guess. I don't know. I never thought of it that way.
Jupiter to have the natural ability and to tinker and to try new things and to also have an expansive palate or an expansive
Mhm.
capacity to cook.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. That
Right.
makes
And Mars, like being very spontaneous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah, that makes sense.
winning dishes sometimes by accident, but
Yeah,
experimenting and trying again and again.
yeah. Usually my best is the first time I make it. If I try and make something again, it's usually not as good as the first time I made it. So I unless I have my certain special things that I make, but even those are like it's still very I think of this as very Cancerian. Like people are like, "What do you like to cook?" And I'm like, "Well, if I'm just cooking for myself, I'm gonna make something random every time." But if I'm like cooking for someone else, I like to make people their favorite thing. Like I don't like to make them what I like to cook. I like to make them what they like to eat, you know?
Okay, I'm feeling the Jupiter in Cancer very
Hmm.
much.
Yeah.
Their favorite food.
Hmm. Yeah. Like I would make my nephew this chicken and he would call it Auntie Uwa chicken. But he was growing up, so he was changing his taste. So I would always tweak it with
Okay, do you
life.
see your nephew is Mars in Cancer? He's growing up Cancer, and as he's growing up, his tastes are changing Jupiter.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm. Yeah, that's good.
Your nephew. So you have okay, so what is your how do you relate to your family? Where do they fit into your life? Or who is your family even?
I have a little bit of a complicated relationship with my family. I'm really close to my sister and my nephew, and I also have one kid of my own. And then I have other siblings that I'm not really that close to, and my mom, who I'm sort of close to.
Okay, this feels like lots of babies around.
Yes, babies. It's funny. This was I never did this, but when I was young, I wanted to open a nursery, like a daycare for only for babies.
Okay.
I definitely like babies. Uh, I started babysitting. I was started babysitting against my will. I had to watch my little brothers and sisters starting around 7, so I didn't really have a choice of being like the caretaker or babysitter, right? And then I started like babysitting and getting paid to watch like neighbors' kids, probably when I was like maybe 9 or 10. Um, I have like adopted children. So when I was 13, I lived with my sister and her friend, and her friend had a baby, and they were young. They were in their early 20s. So they always wanted to go out. So I was always watching the baby. And it was like funny because there was 2 rumors about me in high school. One was that I was gay, and the other was that I had a baby. Because people would always see me around town with this baby, so they thought it was mine. It wasn't, but you know. So yeah, I have like a lot of like, you know, like maybe surrogate children type of situation, where it's like I have these connections with people, kids, whatever, that they're not necessarily mine, but I have a mothering type relationship with them.
Okay, do you see that in the Jupiter Cancer 5th house?
Hmm.
And that you were doing this for work from even a young age, Mars Cancer 6th house.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I used to be a waitress for a long time, so that's also like,
Yeah.
yeah, I waited tables for many years, and I bartended a little bit. It's also like Cancerian.
Of course, the drinks.
Yeah, but I wasn't a very good bartender because I thought that it was about making the drinks, and it's not what being a bartender is about. If you work at a bar, it's about like working the crowd and all this kind of like a little bit more Leo type
Right.
energy. And like people always tell you their problems. This is another probably aspect of this. People always just come and start telling me their problems. Uh,
Mm.
they just naturally feel comfortable and safe with me. And so when I was working at the bar, like literally people start crying and telling me about their dad that died or their wife that left them or whatever. And I didn't know how to like end the conversation. When people were getting so deep with me. And then I would like neglect all the other people at the bar, and I would be like therapizing that one person that was having a breakdown. You know? So that didn't go very well.
What about animals?
I used to have a pet business.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, Walking dogs, boarding cats and
Okay,
boarding
so
more dogs.
boarding, cancer, boarding.
Yeah, yeah. I used to do a lot of pet sitting. And that was like my dirty little secret that we didn't tell our clients, was that I didn't have any pets.
Right, because it's Mars Jupiter, so it should be many.
Yeah,
Right?
so
In
it was a
Cancer,
lot.
pairing, right? So boarding, Mars Jupiter Cancer.
Hmm. Yeah. So I used to walk multiple dogs, and then we had our business, which was other people walking and taking care of the other animals and stuff too. Um, and doing like cat sits and stuff. As far as my personal pets, I've had 2 snakes, which kind of goes with 6th house of small. Also, I'm sorry, not 6th house, Virgo, of like small pets.
Um, were they big snakes?
Yeah. Well, the first one was big. The first one actually got really big. I didn't know anything really about snakes that much. this lady just like randomly, once again, she's like, you look like a good person, take my snake, you'll take good care of him, right? Like people are always trying to give me their animals all the time.
Mhm. Okay, do you see Mars Jupiter, a giant snake? And the snake is Cancer. Because if you think about Cancer, slippery, what does the snake do?
Yes.
Yeah, right? It
Yeah,
glides.
that's good. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
He was really big. And hilariously, his name was also Cancerian. His name was Milky, because I
Okay.
named him that for the galaxy, like the Milky Way.
Brilliant.
So funny, right? I never thought of it. But yeah, he got to be over 6 feet. And so he was maybe like 3.5 feet when I got him. And then he was like about like this big.
Okay, so again, the growing, you see, it was the snake
Mhm.
growing and it was the nephew growing, Cancer.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And I got kind of scared of him once he got so big, because I used to always carry him around my neck, but then once he got so big, I was like, I know he can totally kill me if he wants to. He's not going to, but it would just make me nervous.
What about sick people?
Yes. Definitely some sick people. I took care of my grandma when she was like dying, and I took care of my dad when he had cancer. Um, yeah, uh, I'm very like, if I used to get mad at my ex-husband because I'm just like a natural healer. If you're sick, I know how to make you be better, right? So, but he would not let me do anything for him, and I would get so annoyed. He would not let me heal him. He wouldn't do anything I would say. He just wanted to lay there and be sick. I can cut this time in half minimum, but he wouldn't let me.
Yeah, I'm feeling doula energy as well.
Yes, I definitely wanted to be a doula at one time. So I have a lot of medical trauma from when I was a kid. Um, I had asthma, so I was in the hospital a lot. And then as I got older, I had also probably goes with this like weird ovarian reproductive mysterious problems, right? And actually cured that with plant medicine. uh, so yeah. So when I got older, well, actually, what happened was I did that plant medicine. I was told that I would not be able to have children. I did that plant medicine journey, and then I met my ex-husband like a month later, and then I got pregnant like after we had been together for like maybe 4 or 5 months.
That makes you think about Mars, right? With Jupiter and Cancer. Jupiter and Cancer will be like the rainbow baby.
Mhm.
Mars like the first fighting to even save your child, like chances of having a child, and then yeah, getting pregnant very quickly.
Yes, exactly. And then I did also have to fight to save my child, because I was didn't have any money and I had no insurance at this time. And so I had to go to the like janky hospital. And so was having some like weird pains. And so I was worried. So I went to the hospital. I was very early on, like maybe like 8 weeks. And they were like, this is weird. Something's wrong with the ultrasound. But they didn't say what it was. And of course, it was like a intern type person. They didn't really know what they were doing. So they kept going and getting like another person that was like older or not older, like more established or more experienced, right? And then they all would just like look at the ultrasound and be like, oh, this is weird, and then leave and get someone else. And so then finally they told me, you're not pregnant. Your body just thinks it's pregnant, so we need to give you a D&C, which is basically an abortion, like right now. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Why do I need a D&C if I'm not pregnant? And they're like, they were like, stop arguing with us. You're being illogical. And they were telling me that I was dumb. And they kept getting another person to come and tell me that they needed to do this, even though they couldn't explain why they needed to do it if I wasn't actually pregnant. And like, what is the name of this? Like, there was no clarification. There was no specific medical terminology. I was like, this sounds totally like made up bullshit. Like, this doesn't make any sense. And there was a nurse in the corner of the room, just quiet. And then finally, and these were all women doctors too. They like literally brought in like an army of women doctors to tell me that I was stupid and that I need to get a D&C immediately at that moment, and that if I left that hospital without it, that I was going to die. Which was like, my intuition was just like, no. And also it just logically didn't make any sense. So finally they were like, do you want to call someone? And I was like, yes. And so I called my sister and she said, do you want to do it? And I said, no. She said, like, don't do it. Just leave. Like, don't listen to them. And I was like, okay. Cause they were literally making me feel like I was crazy and dumb. And then I said, I'm not going to do it. And they got all mad and they stormed off. And as soon as they left, the nurse said, oh, thank God you didn't listen to them. And I got like mad, like, why didn't you say anything? But I realized, like, she's the nurse. She's not allowed to argue with the doctor. She could get fired if she contradicts them. To this day, I don't know what.
Okay, to me, what you're describing is the Jupiter Mars, because Jupiter is the learned person.
Mm-hmm.
Ultrasound and all the talking there. What is it? What should she do? And some people you're supposed to trust.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Mars for me is like, right, they're bringing in a new expert and a new one, and each of them is telling you you're supposed to get an abortion. It's like this very disturbing experience with professionals,
Mm-hmm.
right? While you're pregnant or not, Cancer.
Mm-hmm. And I was pregnant and I was totally fine. And there was nothing wrong with my baby. So like a week later, I was at my ex-husband's house. This was before we got married. And I took a hot shower. I didn't know you're not supposed to take a hot shower when you're pregnant. So I passed out in the shower. And he took me to the hospital where he lived, which was a nice neighborhood. And they did ultrasound. Yeah. And they were like, oh, your baby's totally fine. Everything looks great. Your baby's healthy. You're healthy. There's zero problems.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, the Mars in Cancer for me is the shower in this case, and the Jupiter in Cancer is that he lives in a nicer area, and so you get taken to the nicer hospital after falling in the shower.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I have this and because after that happened and had such a bad experience, I did decide to have my baby at home with a midwife. And I worked really hard to make sure I didn't have to go to the hospital because I was like totally terrified of being in the hospital and that they were going to do something bad to my baby, So I did like, things that people don't normally do when they're pregnant. Like I ate extremely super healthy. I didn't eat like anything like sugar, white foods even. I didn't eat rice or bread. I was super, super healthy. I did yoga. I walked my goal was to walk 5 miles a day. Sometimes I didn't get that far, but that was my goal every day.
Do you see the Mars Jupiter Cancer in all of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then I had my baby at home. I had a very easy, uneventful, long labor, and I had a 10-pound baby with no drugs at home. And like as soon as we were done with the delivery, I was like, that was easy. I could do that again. What are people talking about? So I feel like my body was just like, I did a whole lot of work. And I also feel like my body was just naturally made for making babies. I only chose to have one.
Interesting. How old is your child now?
19.
Uh-huh. And where is it a boy or a girl?
Boy.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, he is in California. He's going to school.
Okay. What is he studying?
College. Animation.
Ah.
Interestingly enough, they say like what is ever is in your fifth house is your child. So I have Jupiter in Cancer, and he is Sagittarius rising uh, and Moon, and then also has Jupiter and Sagittarius in the first house.
Uh-huh. Okay. I see the animation in the Cancer because
Okay.
animation is like movement, yeah, when things start to have life. And so that's
Okay. That's true. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. No, I never thought of it that way.
right, like the river of life moving, like the
Mhm.
animation, and it's
Yeah.
also smooth, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're bringing the picture to life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Okay. And
Yeah.
what was it like, how do you relate to him now? Do you help him out? Do you guys talk? What do you talk about? Is there anything? Yeah.
We don't hang out that much, but we talk about everything. And every time we talk for a long time. We get along really well. We don't have any problems. He's an awesome kid. I feel super blessed and lucky. We didn't have any teenage drama. I kept waiting. Everyone's like, oh, just wait and see. It's going to be awful. But it never happened. My parenting style is not super traditional. Um, we sent him to an alternative school that's like play-based experiential learning, student directed. So you
Okay,
don't,
do you feel Jupiter right there?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Hmm. And very like you don't have, and they also, this was the Mars, they had a strong emphasis on conflict resolution. So they if they called it a problem, so if two kids had a problem, they would kind of like force them to work it out. you know and if they didn't work it out, then they weren't allowed to play together until like they had a conversation where they worked it out. so so that I think yielded like a really like high level of like emotional intelligence. So that goes back to the Cancer side. And everyone's like, I had a family member tell me, your kid's going to be a derelict to society. Because they didn't make you do anything. So if you didn't want to learn how to read, you didn't have to learn. And so he didn't learn how to read till maybe he was like 10 because he just didn't care. He didn't want to read. And he's still like, he knows how to read, obviously, but he never got like super into books or anything. He likes comic books and like stuff like that, but not like reading novels. He likes graphic novels. Um, so yeah, but of course, I knew he was gonna be fine. He was fine. He went to regular school and got like almost all straight A's. So it was not a big deal. But
Okay. There's Jupiter again, right? Mars, Jupiter.
yeah, and other people had their opinions about it, but there was no actual problem. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but going back to the doula thing, so after I had that birth experience, I wanted to be a doula because I was like, I want to help other women to have this experience where they are not like, I felt guilty. I didn't talk about my childbirth experience because a lot of women have these like horrific stories. And I was just like, oh, that was easy. And so I wanted to become a doula and I wanted to like help people with like birth and delivery and stuff because of my like really positive experience. Um, but it didn't pay any money. Like you don't make any money. You have to do a lot of training and you don't make any money. And then also you have to just be on call and randomly wake up in the middle of the night whenever babies are being born. I was just like, yeah, no, I'm not about that life. So I didn't do it. But my interest was there, you know.
Okay. Even your name, Umoh Luna.
Yeah, it's true. My name, it doesn't mean mother in the language that it's from, but in a lot of languages, Umoh or something is mother, you know.
Yeah, even in German, Oma, grandmother.
Yeah, yeah. So it has a lot of associations. Now I named myself Luna because I always had a strong affinity with the moon since I was young.
Mm. Okay, let's pause here for today.
Okay.
It's really interesting, right? Like once you get into it, I'm like, well, 30 minutes is really too short because it just starts getting interesting once we enter the stream. So
Yeah.
I have to think about that if I'm going to extend them. But okay, what do you think, or how do you feel?
I feel good. It was interesting. I guess I think I was thinking of it maybe a little too narrowly or too metaphorically, and then it's like, oh, it's actually like super literal. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
So that was fun.
Okay, yeah, for me too. Okay, I'm going to stop recording. So
Okay.
Umo and I are signing out.